Hey there, my name is Pravus and welcome back to more Terra Invicta, playing as the resistance leader of the US, plus the European Union and Kazakhstan and probably Canada. That's the thing I was forgetting. So, we actually did just complete a war, well, sort of, kind of. We declared a war, we conquered Spain, we're technically still at war with Turkey, though I'm hoping we're going to be able to end that as of this next phase, because I really don't see any advantage to sending my troops over here. That seems like a whole lot of work. I did do a bit of digging around trying to figure out what was going on with the fact that I couldn't coup Spain and get it to drop all of its alliances, which kind of caused the big problem we've been having. I think I might have it. I'm pretty confident that the only way to get them to lose all of the alliances is if you coup the executive branch specifically. Successfully coup that, and all alliances go away. Now, it's a little bit random as to what you get. You might drop off like 1 or 2 nodes and the rest are neutral, as we kind of saw with Spain, but I'm pretty sure the more you increase strife before you coup, the more likely you're going to get that executive node. So with that all in mind, what I might do down here in, let's say, Hungary, territory I used to control before Project Exodus took over, we might try to increase some strife over here, then launch a coup and see if, sure enough, knocking out the executive branch drops all the allies, and if so, we can quickly restore them back into the European Union where they belong. In the meantime, we have started mining over in Mars. You can see we are generating some resources in space, which is very good for me. Trying to get to Mercury and Venus as well, which is going to take a little while for the mission to the inner planets to complete, but we'll get there. Also, almost ready to unlock the Orbitals, which is going to be a Tier 2 version of the satellites. Now, this is going to be a very expensive endeavor, but if I can successfully get some research orbitals up and running, I'd like to start getting as much science as possible, not only just in flat science per month, but also a few different modifier bonuses, just to make it a little bit more impactful, because I want to start chunking. I want to start chunking through science as fast as I can. It's more than just that, though. I mean, if you look at, let's say, the United States over here, for example, we go to our priorities, we can see that in the economy, I currently have a 33% bonus to investments. This is partially due to some various different organizations our counselors have, but certain types of orbital stations and science labs can also boost things like that up. Also with the knowledge, I've got a 34% boost there, etc., etc. Making these investment points stretch out and go further is always going to be a very good thing for me. So if I can find a way to get some more stations up and running that I can afford with the meager amount of money I've got right now, I'll happily do it. Something that will help, of course, is to go ahead and toss on any additional economy boosts with some of the organizations that I have stolen. So this is going to get me a lot more administration. Then we toss on something like, Gandiva products over here, which gets me a monthly income plus another 5% economy investment. That's pretty solid. Let's go ahead and do that. Still 2 more points. Okay. Space affairs? Not bad. I mean, extra funding progress, spaceflight programs, space science research, mining output, all of that's good. Anything that gets me mining output is also fantastic for a lot of different reasons. I mean, this is actually probably going to be even better for us than the UN office, even though I like this one. Because the more I can boost up how much I am mining out in space, the more I'll be able to continue building in Snowball, but also there should be a way for me to go ahead and sell some of these resources back on Earth if I need to, and you can see that stuff like fissiles is going to be a very valuable asset for me. I'm very happy to see the Irish are doing a really good job of fighting against the British. That just somehow makes me kind of happy. What else we got here? Ryan and company. Well, that seems pretty solid to steal away from someone. 6 admin. Yikes, dude. So here's a fun thing. Our advisors will eventually get old and die. I mean, this is an inevitability because, I mean, first off, I chose kind of an older crew. 58, 64, 48, 50, mostly older folks. And this game can easily last for like 50 plus years in the actual timescale up here. So there's a good chance they're gonna die. You know what's gonna make it a lot easier to replace these guys and get right back up to our effectiveness? Having a lot of really good admin organizations sitting around, right? As we continue leveling some of these guys up, let's say with Devanshi over here, even though she's at her maximum organization, what we can do is start continuing to feed points into administration and then start siphoning off these admin orgs. And I'll be able to use those later to quickly bounce somebody up to 25 administration, fill them with all these organizations, and then they're going to be useful again. I mean, they're not going to be as useful as they otherwise could be, but still pretty good. Now, at this point, we should be able to go ahead and set some policy in the EU, kind of like the war we did. Actually, I meant to select peace a while ago. I kind of forgot about that. Oops. Let's do that next. For now, Since we've been in control of the EU long enough, we should be able to do some unification. Let's do that now with the Northern Balkan states. And just like that, they have integrated into the EU. We grow more powerful. Orbital's technology is done. Beautimus. All right. So with that done, what do we want next? Great question. I think we want to start working toward the directed space research to get as much value out of those orbitals as possible. That's going to take a little while because there's a lot of tech we're missing, including the advanced carbon manipulation leading to advanced atomic manipulation leading to quantum computing. Once we have quantum computing, after we're done with the directed space research, we could also work toward quantum encryption, which I'm pretty sure is what's going to get me my 6th advisor. Yeah, this is a faction project. Quantum encryption leads to the covert operations. Now, of course, everyone else will be able to research covert operations, but that's beside the point. Let's go ahead and pick up the advanced carbon manipulation and start working toward that. I think that's going to be a worthwhile investment, and then we can just spin off to getting a 6th counselor and have even more governing capacity to grab a lot more nations. We have a coup in Hungary, and I got both points. Does that break all of the alliances? Let's see if I'm correct on this. Yes, it does. Okay, so that confirms my theory. The way that you are going to get all of this set up and get rid of allies is specifically to coup the executive branch, which means getting more strife is always going to be a good thing. All right, with that done and out of the way, we are going to declare peace with Turkey, and then we are going to declare war on Hungary and march in and take that. Then we're going to unify with Slovakia. Seek peace. Turkey. Yes, we don't want to be at war anymore. Thank you. Okay, so that's done with the European Union. Don't have to worry about them. And then you can declare war on Hungary before they get anybody else. US wants to join. Yes, please. And that is a big war right there, and then all of my armies, which are ready to go, are just going to simply deploy over here in Budapest, and that's going to fall relatively quickly. The habitation module is done on Mars. Okay. So, I don't know how to turn off a module. I don't want to decommission the module, I just want to shut this one down. That should work. So we shut this down. This needs to get turned on, and now we have a construction module. So now, if I want to go to Mars and take a look at some of the other sites available, where might I want to set up? What do I need? Well, a lot more water and volatiles would be nice. Wouldn't mind having some nobles as well. There's at least a couple of good sites over here. One here and one here makes some sense. Let's start with this, since it's balanced in a lot of things and I'm okay on volatiles. We are going to found an outpost. It's going to cost me 30 days and only 1 base metal and 1 volatile to set it up. That's all that we need, because we have a construction module. It's glorious. Found the outpost. And then over here, guess what we're going to do? We're going to place down an outpost, and it's going to take 60 days instead of over 300. You see why this is cool? Construction modules are great. We love them. Aha, finally, we found an agent who works for the servants. Okay. So, if we can get some intel on this person, I have a couple of options. I could try to take some of their cool stuff, their best organizations, and weaken the servants. I could try to detain and turn the counselor, depending on what the loyalty value is. Or we could just go for an assassination and try to really hurt the servants. I am down for any of the above, to be honest. Just kind of depends on what's the most likely to work. We have completed the Hydra biology project. Okay, so they're carbon-based. They do breathe oxygen like ourselves. Let's see, they have weird knees, like a horse or a dog, okay. And then there's more information on their physiology, especially how they're capable of feats and abilities impossible for any other species on Earth. So that's a major objective completed. We've learned that they have apparently some redundant systems, 3 heart and brain centers. Makes it very difficult to kill these guys. Got it, you have to kill 2 of the 3. Their regenerative capability makes them largely unaffected by senescence. They are not ageless. There's trade-off as far as being long-lived. They are non-gendered at birth. Each member of the species is born with the latent male and female reproductive organs that do not develop until necessary. That's unusual. Okay. And then it appears they've got some sort of a weird pheromone system. Lots of elaborate sensory organs. Might play a role in how they're mind-controlling people, you think? And now we have unified Slovakia. Boom. All right, so we've created a pretty decent EU here. Next thing I'm probably going to do is see if I can knock the Benelux region out of here, get the Low Countries on our side. They're worth $1.5 trillion. Seems pretty decent. They've also got, it looks like 6 mission control. I like that a lot. So we'll see if we can snag that. Of course, I have to destabilize them a bit. The bigger goals, of course, would be to take on things like Germany and Italy. Those would be fantastic to take over. But of course, I'm sure they're going to be very, very tightly defended. Orbital cores. Okay. So, I'll use that in just a minute to grab myself some new fancy satellites. Let's go ahead and research those Pherocytes just so we can learn a bit more with the 67% boost. This will be done, not as fast as I would have thought, honestly. Okay. Yeah, some of these techs are starting to get really, really expensive. This is where you kind of need the rest of the world to be contributing to a lot of this stuff so you can focus on your faction research. But to be honest, they're all kind of letting me down. They're letting me down hard. Anyway, around Earth, we could set up an orbital station instead of a simple platform. This does take 3 mission control and 12 of my boost, but I've got 200 boost. I don't mind that. Where do I want to set up? Let's do low orbit 2 because, again, there are no clouds of debris, so that's currently a safe location. So we'll set up over there, found an orbital. And if we take a look at this sucker, it's going to be producing a heck of a lot more slots for us. There you go, see? Much, much bigger. I want to get a lot of good research available here, but what do I want specifically? I wouldn't mind some information sciences. What are we researching right now? Space and materials and energy. Yeah, what are we expecting is going to be the most expensive stuff going forward, though? Space stuff for sure. Social, I expect, is going to be very expensive as well as we work toward the Great Nations. Also, the information technology for quantum encryption. So I'm thinking space, society, and information tech. Those are the things that I would like to boost. I'm going to detain one of these servants. I don't like that they're here, and I want to prevent them from becoming a problem. Ooh, new mines. Excellent. We have detained them. Excellent. What do I do with them? I don't know. I mean, we can only hold them for like a couple of weeks, and then they're going to have to be released. So we're kind of slowing them down. They're not really, truly prisoners. Still, it'll be interesting to know a bit more about you. I don't know if we're able to just, like, assassinate someone who's in detention. That would be, like, really scummy, but if it works, it works. What it does is give me, like, a +8 on the fact that they are a detained target. Am I able to detain you a second time to make sure you stay detained? The answer ought to be yes, because I think that they're going to be able to escape. So we could try that, and then if I wanted to use Preesh to do a scummy assassination, very likely to work, and that just takes a servant out of the game. They'll have to start over with someone new. I don't know if this is a terrible idea or not, but I'm gonna do it, and there we go. You have eliminated them. Okay. Can only imagine that's gonna make the servants really angry, but, I mean, to be honest, I don't really care what they think. I hate them too. A probe has also arrived at Ceres. That's a ridiculous amount of water. I do like that. Plus some noble metals and stuff. Okay. This is kind of an okay spot. Would it be worth setting up another base over here? Yeah, I think it probably would. It's just going to take a very, very long time for it to arrive. But okay, let's go ahead and claim a small piece of Ceres. Unfortunately, it's going to take a very long time for things to arrive. So I'm tying up some of my mission control for no gain for like over a year. That's the real downside with some of this mining out here. Could I instead have gone for some Mars mining instead a lot faster? Yeah. So I think it's debatable whether that was worth it or not, but I'm really counting on my ability to at some point start getting some more mission control. So I'm gonna tolerate it for a bit. And a successful coup in the Benelux region. And guess what? We took all the control points, which means there should be no allies. There are not. Perfect. All right, let's go ahead and rival up with the European Union. This is kind of a weird tactic. We have to take over a nation in order to undermine and sabotage it for its own dang good. The Solar Array Project. Now, see, that sounds like the sort of thing I want instead of solar collectors. A way of getting a lot more power. Love it. Let's declare war on the Benelux, even though I control it, because it's hilarious. Go, guys, go! Oh, here's an interesting probe. Okay, so we've arrived on Psyche. 54 base metals and 18 noble metals. That's pretty good. Let me guess. It's gonna be really hard to land over here. It's gonna take a very long time. Gosh dang, dude. But there's such good sources of noble metals. I'm not sure we're gonna find opportunities much better than this. And it's not like Mars has much more. Oh, for heck's sake. All right, found the outpost. I'm sure I'm gonna regret this and people are gonna yell at me, but do it anyway. Americans have arrived in Amsterdam. All right, now this is a core economic area, so I'm a little bit worried about the damage that we could cause on the global economy as a whole, as well as the European Union, but I still feel like this is working out really, really well. Italy would be another really big, juicy target, at which point I think I would stop for a bit. But anyway, notice how we just went from like 340 cap down to 316. That's how much more efficient it is to just go ahead and annex an entire country into a super state. Again, we don't have as much direct control of the budget, but it works pretty darn well. And now, I should also note the European Union is worth about 9 trillion, just shy, 9 trillion in GDP compared to the US's 222 trillion. Not bad. China's still worth 29 and growing fast. God, that's a lot of investment points. But the Academy is just spending it on literally everything regardless of usefulness. That's kind of weird. India has a higher GDP value than the European Union. That's kind of cool. Huh, what about like Russia? 4 trillion. Yeah, all right. Take on Italy. That's another potential 2.5 trillion to toss onto the pile, and I do like that idea. Also, we're up to 19 more mission control, because it looks like the Benelux region actually had built out a fair bit, so that's a huge get for me. Yup. Okay, I get it. If you're wondering, by the way, how GDP is calculated, it's not just like strictly GDP per se. It's also adjusted for purchasing power, which is one of the reasons that China comes out looking so much better than the US, because once you make that adjustment, it overall is looking pretty good. GDP per capita has been growing a fair bit in China as well. The Academy's done fairly well. Still nothing compared to our GDP per capita, but, you know, respectable. Now, here I've identified a really interesting opportunity. So Wan Yi Yu works for the servants, but her loyalty value is 0. Which means we might be able to turn Wan Yi to our side as a traitor, and she'll continue working for the servants, but she would feed us information as to all of their movements and everything they're trying to do, which would be really, really, really cool. So Elias over here with your 16 persuasion, 74% chance of success in turning her traitor. I'll spend a couple of influence to boost that since we have 1,000. Let's get an 84% chance. I would really, really like to have some eyes telling me everything the servants are up to. That would be such a huge piece of information. Turn counselor mission success. Excellent. All right, Wang Yi, you work for me now. So here's the thing with these counselors. If you do turn them, you can actually tell them to basically start undermining and sabotaging the projects and their missions so that your enemies fail in everything they do. The problem is the AI is going to become suspicious at some point. So if you want just intelligence, don't tell them to fail in any missions. Set that down to 0, have them just follow all the marching orders of the servants, it's fine. The important thing is, I now know absolutely everything. So let's take a look at the intel here. So there's the servants. I know where all of their counselors are. I know who they are. I know what they're good at. I know what resources they currently do have available. They've used up 263 control cap compared to my 316. They're not making enough resources to sustain themselves much in space, so that's looking pretty solid for me. I know what tech they've got. I know what their objectives are. They're trying to find the alien path, whatever that means. Okay. Yep. This is all very, very good information to have. They're in conflict with me, but they're not at war with me. That's interesting. If they're at war, they feel very inclined to take hostile actions. But so far, they don't seem to care. Oh, a solar flare. Yeah, okay. These are the kinds of nasty events that can affect things like your mission control and really mess some stuff up. So I could lose 50% of my mission control income for 6 months, or I could pay 100 boost, or, because I researched the Devolved Space Command project, we spend some money and I only lose 25% of my mission control income, which is still just enough to be a problem. So I really need to get one more. All I gotta do is conquer Italy, though, and that problem will solve itself. The economy just contracted in Italy, though. Apparently they've lost so much money and value that they actually lose a control point. That can happen. If you start off with a very tiny nation and somehow you do build it up to having a massive economy, it's gonna gain new control points to worry about. Japan just conquered Georgia. I'm sorry, hold on. Japan surely did not. No, okay, they did so on behalf of Russia, which makes way more sense. I have to say, I think it's hilarious, by the way, that the servants in the UK have attempted to invade Ireland several times, and their army either gets destroyed or at least it has to retreat. Something keeps happening over here, and the Irish keep fighting them back. Yeah, there they go. They just got banished back to Northern Ireland. They're going to regenerate, and they're going to keep trying again and again and again. Man, the Irish just, like, really don't ever give up. And this isn't a bad army either. 4.4, that's pretty advanced. I'm going to see if we can pick up a spy amongst the Protectorate as well. If I can find any of their counselors and actually get them detained and turned. That would be pretty valuable information for me. We're going to try another coup in Italy. And hopefully it actually works this time. I do not like that I'm getting pop-ups for the success of my spies, though. I really don't care. There's a coup in Italy. All right. Now we have the executive... How do you still have allies? No, but really, though, how do you actually still have allies? Hello? All right, fine. We're just going to have to find all these guys and say, no, we're not friends anymore. We never liked you in the first place. Go away. A first asteroid base has been founded. Hooray! Okay, so which one we get again? I think this is the one that gave me, like, the ridiculous amounts of noble metals, right? Pherocyte's tech is also done. We've learned a bit more about the pheromone chemical that they are using to mind control people. Goody, okay. So yes, it is, in fact, the mechanism that they are using. So have we found a way to actually get rid of it? Looks like they have a limited lifespan as the Pherocytes die off. Then eventually the subject will regain its self-determination. So keep them away from Pherocytes long enough, and eventually they'll regain control of their own minds, supposedly. Now we need to learn Hydra containment. Need to figure out how to trap those things and actually imprison them. Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun. Anyway, so what happened over here again? We discovered... Whoop, back. There we go. What did we discover here? Oh, right. The outpost hasn't arrived yet, but it will as of next month. And this is actually going to give me some of everything, including a load of noble metals. Yep. This is going to be an outstanding habitat. We are detaining a counselor, and we are going to try to turn them in. We were successful. Hooray! And let's see, automatically, blah, blah, blah. Okay, but he didn't get fired this time. Cool. So let's go ahead and turn you to not fail missions so people don't get suspicious. And now, if we take a look at intel, I know what the servants are up to, and I know what the Protectorate is up to. So we have a good sense of what they're up to here. So we have a good sense of their income, which is to say, not much. These guys have very, very little. They're super freaking rich! But beyond that, like, they're not using much of their control points or anything. Most of these people aren't even really in space. What are y'all doing? You're wasting so much time on Earth, you're not willing to do anything about the aliens. Even though you're against me, I'm just so disappointed. But anyways, okay. Well, I wish I knew how to siphon off at least a chunk of this army. What is your current objective? Set our goals. They haven't even done that yet. They have failed to set their goals. Okay, we did that like a long time ago. These guys suck. These guys suck. Now, unfortunately, you can only have 2 spies, period. So we can't exactly get a counselor for every faction to get full intel on them. We're just going to have to rely on these 2. I'm trusting that these 2 are going to be my primary enemies, mainly because the servants are the servants, and the Protectorate, they're not that far off from the servants. They're just less extreme. I don't trust them. That's what I'm trying to say. Also, I've kind of got the Academy on... Oh, interesting. We can no longer assume that she's working for us. We'll have to fix that at some point. Where are you? Do we know where you are? We'll find you. We'll find you, don't worry. Anyway... I've already been dealing with the Academy and Project Exodus. The Initiative is the only other faction we haven't messed with, and I'm probably not going to mess with Humanity First any more than I absolutely have to. Hey, it's time to declare another war against Italy. Now, interestingly enough, this time it's saying that the US won't join. Wait, what? Why would the US not join? I'm not going anywhere without the US. I need to know what's going on here. What happened? You don't have any allies. You're rivaled. Well, what exactly is the problem here? I don't know. Let's rival the US. Seems unwise, but okay. Advanced atomic manipulation is about to be done. And then I gotta remember what we're trying to do after that. So that's the most tech. Let's take a look at that tech tree. We were leading toward... Where are we leading toward? We have the advanced atomic manipulation leading toward quantum computing. Yes, that's where we were going next. So I guess that's going to have to be our next big one. Okay. So we'll begin that research. I got a 29% booster here. Still not outstanding, but at least it's something. I've got enough control that I could go for some additional science labs if I want. I just feel like I need this to go to other places, but I guess it is still gonna be a while before I can go to Mercury. So maybe it would be worth setting up at least another one of those satellites, or at the very least, I suppose one thing we could do is upgrade some existing satellites. That's a thing we can do, right? I am pretty sure that's true. Let's check real quick. Let's see. Upgrade orbital core. There it is. Okay, so it's saying the monthly cost is -3. Yeah, but it's only -2 compared to what I have right now. Like an additional 2 control spent instead of building one from fresh. And with things like, some solar collectors. Didn't I already have the solar labs? Maybe that's still in work, the solar array. Regardless, though, if we can do that, that seems pretty solid, and it's only going to take me 60 days. So let's try upgrading some of my platforms. Oh, and mines are arriving on Forbin Base. Beautiful. Look how many noble metals I'm getting now. Love it. All right, declare. There we go. Now the US will join. I'm not really sure what happened there, but okay. So we're at war with Italy now, and a huge combined force of the Americans and the Europeans is about to march on Rome. There are a lot of enemy ships that are starting to arrive around Earth. They're not crash landing, which is interesting. These are destroyers. If I understand correctly, they are conducting surveillance missions on the planet, figuring out what the heck is happening. I don't know what that does. But I would imagine letting our enemies get intelligence on our country is probably not something I like. Oh, I spoke too soon. There's a UFO. All right, that means there's probably another alien life form somewhere on Earth. We can find it. I know how to kill him now. Italy should be falling, and that's going to be the end of that one. Boom. I am still well within my control cap here, guys. Well within this. I don't really see any reason why I couldn't just keep doing this to every former member of the European Union. I'm currently starting to build up some unrest and support in Germany. It would suck for Project Exodus, of course, to lose this, but, like, that's probably fine. Yeah, if we wanted to, we could just unite all of Europe. The other question is, should we start looking at getting some points elsewhere? India comes to mind. They cost 21 points now. Ouch. Yeah, that's kind of expensive. Could grab something like Saudi Arabia and start forming the caliphate. Of course, for that to work, we're going to also need to use up all of the American armies elsewhere. I kind of feel like one step at a time. Unite the rest of Europe. At the very least, get Germany. That's plenty more control boosts in science and a 4.3 trillion GDP that I'd love to add on to this, which would be pretty darn valuable. So, yeah, I think at the very least Germany, if we want to continue pushing, we can. Or we could consider going for another supranational state. I don't know, we'll think about that. There's plenty more we need to do in space warfare. I don't even have any basic kinetic guns and stuff. I don't have any missiles. We need all these things, because it's time for us to start building up ships to defend the planet. Thank you all for watching. I do hope that you enjoyed. If so, I'd ask you hit that like button, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notify bell, and I will see you guys next time.